Welcome into the final installment of CrossFire presented by Microsoft Surface, the official laptop and sideline technology provider for the LA Chargers. Alongside ESPN's Matt Miller and NFL.com's Chad Reuter, Chris Hayre here with you. And guys, today it's all about the Chargers' 13th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Here's the first topic: the biggest need for the Chargers to fill. Matt, kick us off.
But I'm going to go with left tackle. We've seen situations across the NFL, how important it is to protect your young quarterback, especially when you have weapons like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and some players they drafted last year. I was a huge fan of KJ Hill. So I like the supporting cast that you have there. I think protecting him is important. There could be an argument for cornerback here, especially if the top offensive tackles are off the board. But you look at Justin Herbert, you have something very special at the quarterback position. You could take a peek at your own division. Remember the Super Bowl? Mahomes without his offensive lineman, it was ugly. You have to make sure that you not only have depth at those positions, but you need that guy. You need that mainstay left tackle. So that would be the ideal pick for me.
Chad, what about you? Biggest need for the Bolts to fill?
What else could you do to help Justin Herbert develop? Well, it's a receiver. Losing Hunter Henry takes away a little bit of the inside game from Herbert. And I think if they were to pick a very good wide receiver that can work in the slot, that would help alleviate that loss of Hunter Henry without using it on a tight end, because we all know Kyle Pitts won't be available. So I think building that slot receiver position can alleviate that issue and really find a good value at that number 13 pick.
All right, guys, next topic. The Chargers obviously pick at 13. Do they keep the pick or do they trade the pick? Chad, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think if they get the right offer, they should move down and accumulate more selections. I think they can get a similar player. They probably have a handful of guys in mind at that 13 pick, and if they can pick up again a receiver or maybe that next cornerback on their draft board or tackle, there's some depth at the tackle position at any of those spots. So there's some interesting options for the Chargers.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that playing the draft board, but I'm on the belief that we're going to see someone fall. 5 quarterbacks might go in the first 8 picks. We're going to see someone get pushed on the board. Maybe it's like Chad said, maybe it's Devonta Smith. I think you have to keep the pick, because one thing that this team does need, you have the quarterback, right? You have that great player. You have a great pass rusher in Joey Bosa. I think they need to find another blue chip level building block. And the good news is that this year at number 13 overall, because the run on quarterbacks, because we might see 2 offensive tackles drafted, as Chad alluded to, we'll probably see 2 to 3 pass catchers off the board by that point, and maybe 1 defensive player, maybe 2. I think that would push a good, potentially blue chip player down to the Chargers. So I would say keep the pick, but I mean, if you have an opportunity to go get Kyle Pitts, you trade the pick, obviously, right? So everything's within some context, right? If you can get Jamar Chase, you're making the phone call. You got to go get that elite player.
They're not going anywhere, man. They're not.
No,
they're not going.
I know. We can dream of a Kyle Pitts, Justin Herbert connection.
Oh my gosh, how great would that be? Wow.
SoFi Stadium
Kellen Winslow
on fire. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's a history of tight ends with this organization, from Winslow to Gates.
Yeah,
Pitts would be incredible. All right, guys, I love this next topic. A wild card. We've seen the usual suspects in these mock drafts. Give me a name that no one is considering for the Chargers at 13 that could happen, Matt.
Yeah, it's hard to move me off this Kyle Pitts thing I've got going in my head now. Let's go back to defense, though, because I do think we're going to see a scheme change here with Brandon Staley. What did they do when he was on the other side of town? They ran a lot of man coverage, right? So I think we're going to see more of that now, more man coverage. I think Caleb Farley fits that exceptionally well, if healthy. Obviously, there's medical concerns with the microdiscectomy. He had a knee injury in the past. But I think on raw talent, he might be the best corner in this class. I mean, he's 6'2". He's incredibly physical. Virginia Tech reportedly clocked him at over 24 miles an hour. And not to keep hammering home the fact that your division is very, very fast, but your division is very, very fast with Tyreek Hill and Henry Ruggs and KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy. Like, there are some speedy wide receivers that you have to worry about. Oh, and players like Cortland Sutton, who are bigger and great route runners. So I think the Chargers have to find that shutdown corner who can play out on an island without safety help. So I think Caleb Farley's a name to keep in mind.
Chad, what do you think?
Well, I think the Chargers could go off most people's scripts here a little bit. If you want that offense to be as devastating as it could be, teams win games with offenses, and your defense just has to be good enough, right? Why wouldn't you give as many weapons to Justin Herbert as you can? I think Devontae Smith from Alabama would be a fantastic pick because he can play the slot. He would be extremely dangerous in the slot. You've seen what Devontae Adams can do with Green Bay from the slot, and he goes outside as well. And Smith can do both. They'll be so good on offense next year if you pick a guy like Smith at 13.
No defense in the AFC West, though. None. I love it. Let's just score points, right?
All right, guys. Final topic. Who will the pick be at number 13 overall? Chad, we'll start with you.
Well, I think the pick will probably end up being Rashawn Slater. I love Rashawn Slater. He's a top 10 talent. But let's just say there's some trades that go on there, and he could slide down into this position, not because of anything he did, but just because, as Matt mentioned, 5 QBs going early.
Yeah, if Slater's on the board, you run that pick in, right? Or don't fax it, right? You make sure they know in Cleveland who you want that pick to be. Tom can text me. I'll be there. I'll run the pick up for him. I'm happy to do that. I think Slater will probably be off the board, though. And if so, then I think you do have to look at that corner position. Instead of reaching for a tackle, I think J.C. Horn fits exactly what they want. He's physical. I did not see a tougher, more ferocious corner in all the tape study that we did this year. He has speed. He has ball skills, had a great pro day workout. So I think if they can't get that left tackle, then you have to look at the next biggest need. That is for that man corner. And Horn, in my opinion, is a great scheme fit.
Giving us a lot to think about. We'll see what happens on Thursday night. This has been CrossFire, presented by Microsoft Surface, the official laptop and sideline technology provider for the LA Chargers.